Hi, I am Sai Prashant Tadabala. Today I am going to discuss about role and responsibilities of Scrum Team Tester. Roles and responsibilities of Scrum Team Tester. In previous session, I discussed about roles and responsibilities of Scrum Team developers. Okay, Scrum Team Testers. I am mentioning some short form like this. STT. Scrum Team Testers. Okay, so in general, the Scrum Team testers are developers. Scrum Team is comprises of developers and testers, as we know, developers and testers. This Scrum Team is going to be formed by, means going to be selected by PO and Scrum Master. PO and SM means Scrum Master with respect to customer and stakeholder acceptance. Customer and stakeholder, SH means stakeholder acceptance. Okay, so once after Scrum Team is formed, developer will perform his roles that I already discussed in the previous session. So now we are going to concentrate on Scrum Team testing role, Scrum Team testers role. So initially his role starts from Scrum Team tester role starts like this. See, first of all, Scrum Team tester have to study all user stories for understanding customer requirements. To understand customer requirements, it means that Scrum Team tester is responsible to study all user stories to understand or for understanding customer requirements. Then after studying all the user stories, Scrum Team tester have to participate, or else you can say is responsible to select some user stories. Means he have to provide his acceptance. In general, you see here in the flow diagram, you can observe like here. Yeah, in the flow diagram, here some user stories are going to be selected by the PO. Some user stories are going to be selected by the PO with respect to Scrum Team acceptance, Scrum Master and Scrum Team acceptance. Scrum Team acceptance means here Scrum Team developers and testers. So here it means that Scrum Team tester also have to accept. He have to accept. Better word you can use accept here. Scrum Team tester is responsible to Scrum Team tester is responsible to accept some user stories. After completion of this phase, once he is familiar with all the user stories, he is good understood with he understood all the requirements of users means customer. Then after that, he have to prepare test scenarios and test cases based on the test strategy provided by the Scrum Master. In the sense, before he is going to start preparing test scenarios and test cases, the Scrum Team tester have to study testing strategy and testing planning. You can say testing planning. See, Scrum Team tester have to study testing strategy, means this testing strategy is going to be provided by PO and this test planning is provided by Scrum Master. Means what you have to understand here means here approach, in the sense testing strategy means there will be different strategies like ad hoc testing, exhaustive testing, optimal testing, like this different strategies were there based on the requirements. This based on the time and requirements, PO is going to select some strategy and that strategy is forwarded to Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is going to include that strategy in the plan, and he is going to develop a plan how to perform which approach that we need to follow, and the schedule in which with stipulated period of time we have to complete the testing. Like this, all those will be included in this test planning. So this Scrum Team tester, after receiving this test strategy and test planning, he have to study this test strategy and planning to understand testing approach. Testing approach means head of testing, or you exhaustive testing or optimal testing, which testing that it is specified in testing strategy. Based on that, understanding that, you have to follow the testing approach and the schedule to follow. After studying the test strategy, then after understanding this, then his next role is he have to prepare. Scrum Team tester how to prepare test scenarios, test cases, and test data for what? For user stories. For some user stories, means some user stories. Why I am specifying here means, in sprint planning meeting, PO is going to select some user stories with respect to Scrum Team developer and Scrum Team tester acceptance. Okay, Scrum Team developer and Scrum Team tester acceptance. So among those some user stories also, as I told, 7:3 ratio. So suppose 3 testers are there, means the user stories are allocated for testers, means for responsible user stories. Like we can say like this, for the responsible user stories, you have to prepare test scenarios, test cases, and test data. After completion of preparing these, then Scrum Team tester have to develop test scenario and test cases, either manual. There are 2 ways for testing, manual or automation. Means after preparing scenarios and cases, next phase you have to continue to develop test scenarios and test cases based on the specifications specified by the requirements specified by the Scrum Master and PO. You have to do automation or manual. For preparing test scripts. Clear? Manual or automation will be specified by the Scrum Master only, Scrum Master and PO. Okay, based on that we need to prepare the test scripts. For suppose if it is automation, means there are in current market there are some tools like QTP, Selenium, Load Runner, like many tools are there. Among those tools, that also the tools will be specified by the PO, and the license, for suppose Selenium is license free, open source. For some tools they need to purchase the license. The Scrum Master is going to purchase the license, and Scrum Team testers are going to operate the tools and going to perform testing. Clear? Then after that, once after preparing the test script, the point number is 6. Okay, after preparing the test scripts, by Scrum Team tester, then he need to execute test script. He need to execute the test script over what? Over the build received from Scrum Team developers. In previous session we studied that Scrum Team tester are going to perform unit testing and integration testing, and is going to release the build to the testers. here testers are going to receive that build, and they are going to perform test execution by using these test scripts, either manual or automation. Okay, then after executing, while executing test scripts, if Scrum team tester found any defect, immediately he forward the defect report to Scrum team developers. Defect report to defect report to Scrum team developer. So then, as I told in previous session, once we received any defect report from the Scrum team tester, so Scrum team developer is going to check either it is defect or not, means either it is bug or not, means he have to accept that defect is bug. If it is not accepted, then it will be rejected. Again, he have to perform the testing. So let us assume Scrum team developer checked the defect, checked the defect and accepted it as bug, then and he performs the Scrum. Then after the accepting it as bug, the Scrum team after considering as bug, Scrum team developer going to fix the bug and he is going to fix the bug, and he will release the, he means here Scrum team developer releases, Scrum team developer fix the bugs and he releases the modified build. So once after receiving the modified build, modified build by Scrum team tester, again he will receive the modified build from the Scrum team developer. After receiving the modified build by the Scrum team tester, again Scrum team tester going to perform test execution, and he is going to perform re and regression testing to check either the issue is solved or not, either the bug is fixed or not. So once the bug is fixed, and while doing the re and regression testing, the bug is fixed and another defect is raised, means again he is going to forward the defect report to the Scrum team developer, and Scrum team developer is going to check the defect is bug or not. Once the defect is accepted by the developer as a bug, the developer is going to fix the bug and he is going to release the modified sprint again. Like this the cycle repeats. Again the Scrum team tester is going to perform test execution over the modified build, and he is going to check that either the defect is either the bug is solved or not, fixed or not. He is going to test and he is going to perform re and regression testing. For example, re and regression testing means, I will tell a small example. Let us consider doctor and patient. Initially, let us assume why patient went to doctor hospital if he having any problem. For suppose the problem of patient is headache. So when he went to doctor provides medicine. So patient suffering with problem is headache is defect, but doctor provides medicine is modified build. Okay, Patient came to hospital with problem is defect, and the doctor is going to rectify the defect by solve the defect by providing some medicine. Means he is going to provides medicine in the sense modified build. Then after using the tablet, after using medicine means checking. After using medicine means in terms of in terminology here, checking the build, checking the build means testing the build. 1 minute. Better word here is testing. After testing the build, if the issue was solved by using the medicine, if the headache was gone means fine, thus it is fine, means there won't be any issue. Even after using the medicine, the headache is not solved. Patient again come to a hospital. Again comes to doctor. Using this medicine only. Morning I used medicine means for up to 1 hour the medicine worked. After 1 hour again I am getting headache, means the issue was not solved. So then after the report is forwarded by the patient to doctor will provide another medicine for him. After using that medicine, if the issue was solved, he haven't got any headache means, then we call it as the bug is fixed, bug is solved. Like this, then after they perform the re and regression testing, then the doctor will ask, after using this medicine, have you got any side effects? Is your issue solved? Like this, the doctor is going to question the patient. This is how the re and regression testing is going on. Okay. Then this re and regression testing goes on until until the bug is fixed. Okay, these are the roles and responsibilities of Scrum Team tester in Agile Scrum process or Agile Scrum model, and few more responsibilities are there. Yeah, responsibilities of Scrum Team tester is he is responsible to study all user stories. First of all, you have to study all user stories and you have to understand. Then after, you have to accept some user stories in the sprint planning meeting. Accept some user stories. You have to accept some user stories. Okay, you have to study all user stories and have to understand requirements and have to accept some user stories. Then after that, you have to participate in, you have to test the sprint. You have to perform test execution until the bugs were solved, bugs were fixed, until the build is bugs free software, bugs free build. And in daily Scrum meeting, you have to provide the status of his work status. It means you have to provide the work status details. Then after, in sprint review meeting, you have to participate in sprint review meeting to collect the feedback from the customer. Okay, and sprint retrospective meeting also he have to participate in, he is responsible to participate in sprint retrospective meeting to to mention his issues, the issues he faced with the previous build, or the problems he is having with the Scrum team members. All these details he have to update to the Scrum Master in this sprint retrospective meeting, and whatever the steps we have, measurement steps we have to take for the next sprint, all these details going to be communicated in this sprint retrospective meeting. And then after that, the Scrum team tester have to participate in product backlog refinement meeting to collect the changes in requirements specified by the customer and stakeholder. Okay, these are the meetings that Scrum team, 1 minute, Scrum team tester have to participate. You have to participate in sprint planning meeting, and next you have to participate in daily Scrum meet. Then after sprint and daily Scrum meet, and then after you have to participate in sprint review meeting, and you have to participate in sprint retrospective meeting and product backlog refinement meeting. In these 5 meetings he is responsible to participate. These are the roles and responsibilities of Scrum team tester in Agile Scrum process, in Agile Scrum model. In the next session I am going to discuss about bug What is meant by bug? What does it mean by defect? What does it mean by error? What does it mean by fail or failure? These I am going to differentiate these bug, defect, error and